What's up, friends? I'm Zach Joachim. This is On the Horn after VCU beat George Mason 70-65 in the Rams senior day and final home game of the season. My dad's here. Dad, say hey. His name's Steve. This is his first VCU game. We wanted to get him the VCU experience, and he got to meet Phil Martelli, which was incredibly kind and gracious of Phil to come out and shake my dad's hand and say hello and meet him. So that's immensely appreciated, although Phil did give me some shtick.
Phil was extra spicy with you.
He was. I know, right? What did I do to deserve that? And I guess I'm going to be helping out the facilities people break down the place because I always talk to them, and they're in On the Horn a lot of the time. My good friend Jacob, who I went to high school with, works at VCU, and he helps break down the arena, but I was criticized by Phil for not helping them out. Anyway, MP, what's up, my friend?
he was calling you saying, grab a broom, get clean in here. You're here so late. Are you ever the last person in here?
Often.
What's that like?
It echoes. Everything echoes a little bit. It's a little eerie. Although I guess I shouldn't say often because there is usually like maybe one or two facilities people left.
I was saying, like, you feel the aura when you're in here?
Yes.
Alone late at night?
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's been like probably alone in some kind of large empty space or arena like that at some point, right? And yes,
I don't think everybody
has.
Okay,
is that a unique experience?
I have had that experience, obviously, but I don't believe that is a common human experience.
Marcus, you want to say hey to On the Horn?
It was a great season in the Stuart C. Siegel Center. I had a great time.
Well said.
And I made some friends along the way.
Everybody's making a really big assumption here that we're not going to be back. And
okay,
I don't
need that.
I don't
out in the air.
I don't
what
want
you're
to be
putting out in the air.
I don't want to be back here. I don't want to be back here. But it needs to be said that if they don't win in Pittsburgh, they would absolutely be an NIT host, and I think maybe even the favorites to win the whole thing.
If they lose in the quarterfinal or the semifinal in Pittsburgh, I think they can get to the final.
You got to take care of Dayton on Friday first.
Yes, they do have to win at Dayton, and that's a tough game. That is a really tough game.
That's a quad one game at this point.
It is. They're 71.
Go Rams!
Yeah.
Are we still doing radio too?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
No, people love this stuff.
Awesome. All right.
We are the number one late morning sports talk show in Richmond.
Hell yeah, you are.
Nobody
WCW Sports.
Nobody outrates us among key demos between 10:11 and 10:23 a.m.
Who would? Who would? Come on, man.
There are no other shows. But
That's not what I meant. Do you and Adam ever get competitive?
Well, we're not on at the same time.
Okay,
If we were on the same time, yeah, I'd want to crush him. But instead, I want to give him the best lead-in possible so he can shine, so we both excel.
A symbiotic relationship.
Correct, yes. If people love AWOD Radio, they're maybe going to make sure to tune in a little bit early.
And pee on the mic.
Catch me. And, Adam and I talk at the end of the show. We call it Crosstalk. It's America's favorite radio segment. And so, the success builds on itself. It's a good team effort.
Where should we start?
Here's where I think we should start. I think they looked lost offensively early, trying to play through Djokovic too much. Like everything was just get the ball to Djokovic. He goes down with the ankle injury. I thought they played a little better of a team game. He comes out in the second half, clearly isn't right, but toughs through it. And for about 2 minutes there, coming out of the 4-minute timeout, they played their pace. And dang, if that was just...
You kept saying during the game you wanted them to speed up the tempo.
It was a beauty to watch. I said before the game, I said they need to score 80 and they'll win. They didn't score 80. They didn't come close, but they found a way to get it out.
And the defense has improved so drastically since that loss in Fairfax, right? That was one of the big standouts to me is after Mason jumped out to, what was it, I think a 16-9 lead. They were 8 of 9 from the floor to begin this game. And they were pounding it inside, right? A lot of it was Allen Spock, just little jump hooks in the post. They were getting those easy buckets. And so it was foreboding because that was how they won in Fairfax, right? I think people were saying in the press conference they didn't make a 3 in the second half of that game. They were just getting to the cup and shooting way too efficient around the rim. And VCU, as the game wore on, was able to clean things up defensively. Keyshawn Mitchell, some really good minutes there in that first half in relief of Lazar Djokovic. Little two-man game with both Ward and Hill on opposite wings in a quick sequence there. I thought his mobility as a big, all of a sudden Mason was uncomfortable, looked like something that they weren't prepared for because they came into the game near the top of the scouting report to stop Djokovic.
Yeah, well, you didn't think you'd see him for that many minutes.
Yep.
I didn't think we'd see him for that many minutes. For Bam, not a true senior night, obviously. He's been here 1 year, but I'm glad he had a great performance, and I'm glad he acquitted himself well, and I thought looked really good.
And Barry Evans, 7 points, a rebound. I mean, he was -5 on the plus-minus, and he had foul trouble too, which really limited him. But he got to end it with a dunk that didn't count at the end. But still,
I think it took them until this game to figure out what this series is all about.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't know in Fairfax, and they got punched in the mouth. I think, like, you saw it, like Jennings working hard to sell the illegal screen, right? Like, the pushing, the shoving. Bam lives on the edge. Tyrell playing with a little bit of.
You know what was huge too was Hill drawing the fourth foul on Mincy over on this side of the floor.
100%.
That was a huge moment in this game because Mincy had to come off for a long stretch in the second half.
Yes, he did.
I don't know if I agree with the call, but it's very heady from Terrence because he's obviously looking for it because he's trying to get Mincy in foul trouble.
Yeah, it was a game with a lot of fouls called both ways.
Yeah, it was. What's the free throw total?
When you have a lot of fouls called both ways, you're going to have ones you can nitpick, but you're also going to. There were a lot of fouls that went uncalled. Can I give you an analogy? Mason is the LC Bird football.
We love our LC Bird football.
Well, we do, and we love the Skyhawks, and we love all our Chesterfield teams, but the LC Bird mentality is if we hold on every play, they can't call
You can only call it so much.
They can only call it but so much.
It's been very successful in the past.
I thought it worked out for Mason as well until it didn't, obviously, because they didn't win the game. But I'll say this. I am rooting like heck for Mason
on Saturday
because I want to keep them on the 4-5 seed line.
Yeah, because VCU does not want to play them.
If they lose, they could tumble to 6, and then you're maybe seeing them in the semis.
And they look like a tough matchup.
Just don't want to chance that at all.
Yeah, Mason.
I don't want a second game.
Mason, just given how they match up with VCU, how they've played them this season, I don't think you want to see. And then Dayton and G-Dub are the two other teams that I would not want to see in Pittsburgh early on. No offense to St. Joseph's, they're playing good basketball right now, but Dayton, with all the talent that they have, seems like they've figured some things out. That's a tough game Friday at UD Arena. And G-Dub really impressed me in that first half here. With a healthy Rafael Castro, I think they can beat anybody in the league.
Oh, G-Dub is, I believe, 2-9 in games decided by single digits.
Are they really? That makes sense.
Like, flip the switch and they're good, right? Every year you've got that team that just is on the wrong side of coin flip games.
And I'm sure a few of those were with Castro out too, right?
No question. That's a very talented team. I think you got 6 teams that could win it all, cut down the nets, legitimately. We're gonna fight over the seeding here, but I like where they stand on the 2 seed, chance to be that home team in the semis.
And they've clinched it after this win. They can't finish lower than the 2.
Done deal. I will refuse to acknowledge the
regular season title.
Co-regular season title. You lost to them twice.
That's totally fair.
Don't hang a banner. That's not a thing.
Funny story in that regard. A couple years ago when Richmond shared it with Loyola Chicago, right? And I believe JOC was writing a story about UR, and I made the terrible mistake of correcting him because I think he said A10 regular season champions, and I said co-regular season champions because they were, but I think they beat Loyola twice that year. They only played once and they beat them once.
I recognize it as their legitimately one title.
It should be.
If VCU and St. Louis finish with the same record, I will recognize it as St. Louis is legitimately one regular season
So
title.
VCU's last year, you don't recognize Mason and it being even though because they only played once last year.
Played once and VCU won,
and
right?
VCU won,
yeah.
But it's
yeah. So they're the champ. Like, wait. What do we do? Giving everybody a trophy now? What are we doing?
You got the same conference record, though.
What are we doing? Picking 4 All-Metro Players of the Year? What's going on?
We've a participation trophy by that adds.
I think you're outnumbered here.
This is technically the rule in the A10 that if VCU and St. Louis finish with the same conference record, they share the title, even though St. Louis has beat VCU twice this year.
I don't acknowledge it.
Nor do I. No. You do for the seed. So St. Louis would still get the number 1 seed, but you don't for the title. Yeah. Terrence Hill and Lazar Djokovic, 2 huge buckets at the end there. I feel like we got to touch on both of them. Yep. Obviously, VCU in clutch time, down the stretch in games, at this point, it's Terrence Hill that they want the ball in his hands. And Phil Martelli has said that the trust has grown throughout the year and in him as a distributor, right? That if, they do what VCU has done to a few teams here, when you've got that leading scorer and you say make somebody other than him beat us, then he trusts Hill to be able to find those other guys. Was thinking they might be able to get Lazar Djokovic open on a roll on that clutch bucket, but it was 68-65, and Terrence Hill's kind of hanging finish rattled in off glass, and that sealed it with 9.9 seconds on the clock, I believe. But right before that, Lazar Djokovic, he pulled a Dirk Nowitzki, is what he said in the post-game presser. I think that's what Adam said, too, over here. But fadeaway jumper in the lane after he turned his ankle in the first half, that was impressive.
Said he only did that because he wasn't 100%, didn't feel like he could burst to the rim. I believe Martelli's quote on that was, well, it wasn't the shot we drew up.
No.
But he made it.
And to his credit, he made a huge 3 down the stretch, too. I think it was on the right wing.
Monster 3. I thought we were done at that point. Mesa Man's like a horror movie. They keep coming back. They never die. Like, there's so many moments. I will say, Tony Skinn, who I think is a really good coach, I think should have fouled late. There's I think he put a little too much faith in how much time would be left.
Down 3, they let VCU run it down. Yeah.
Even if VCU misses that shot, you don't have a timeout because you did the dumb challenge. That is a tough get it down court in 7 seconds and a good look and a 3 and it's a tie, not a win.
You were so right about that challenge too, because what was it? Was that like 48 seconds on the clock or something like that?
It just felt obvious in real time. Like it didn't feel like. It felt like they went over the slot machine and put their coin in, and they just didn't need to in that moment.
I wanted to say in that moment, it's such a big out of bounds call, use it or lose it. Like you might as well there, but you were so right. Then we looked at the replay and it was like, no, they're not going to win that. So you lose your last time out.
I thought at first the refs were going to review it, and I was mad about that. But it was a Mason challenge. They have every right to make dumb decisions with their timeouts. That's their constitutional right as Patriots.
Shout out to the Peppas too, because I think this has become. There was a lull in this rivalry for a few years there, right? Because Mason wasn't good enough. And
Kapatsi was gone too.
Kapatsi was gone too.
Doc Nix ran the conference for a couple of years. Yeah.
And so he and Skins back and forth, which it seems like they have a bit of a personal vendetta here at this point, which is very fun, is revived now. And this rivalry has got juice to it. And the A10 final obviously helped with that last year too, when you play with high stakes. But they did a clown thing today. The Peppas did. Because last year, Mason came here with a win streak. They did an Undertaker-style funeral.
Funeral dirge march.
As they were walking in, which was hilarious. And this year, Mason had lost 4 of 5 coming into this game, so I think they went with a clown show type deal as the pregame Peppas. Ben, do you have any insight on that?
I did not think it was as good as the funeral.
It wasn't as good as the funeral. And I was also told that one of the Mason players laughed and shook his head as he was passing.
Jordan Tiller,
he said last year was better.
Was cracking up.
It was funny.
Yeah. I love that you had guests at the start of the show. They left. They apparently did something with their lives, and they came back.
And they've now come back
to end the show. That is entertainment value for your readers. It's like we're getting paid by the minute around here.
Adam and Ben, do you have any?
We charge a lot.
Yeah. Any insight you want to add here while I've got you here?
Grab a broom. Get busy while you're
not
over
covered yet.
Has every VCU George Mason game in the past calendar year been an instant classic? I think so.
There's been a lot of good games.
Yeah.
It has been a lot of good games.
I can't go there with this one. This was a good game.
It was a good game. Yeah, I don't know about instant classic. It was a good game.
This was a good game.
Mason jumps out to a 16-9 lead. We ended up with 3 ties and 7 lead changes. VCU led for 25-33. Mason for 13-15. First half was very back and forth. Mason led for a majority of it, and then VCU closed with a flurry. And then a few lead changes early in that second half, and then we could get to the sequence here with my ridiculous play-by-play to where VCU really starts to lengthen it out. I think I wrote Djokovic looks all right early on in that second half. Finished a cleanup at the rim for 41-38 VCU.
You said the drugs were kicking in.
Yeah, that was great. Also,
from Lazar.
Yeah, we need to get the other one in here because you asked him the question. So why don't you tell us what he said?
Well, he has not been in an NCAA tournament. This is his third year. I asked him about what are the emotions here? He's so close, and he said he's got butterflies in his stomach, and it's like when you have your first crush.
And then your response was?
Well, I hope they hook up.
So we all really enjoyed that. That was awesome.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
I don't think Mason led again after that sequence that I'm pointing to. Did they have a lead there late? Were there any late lead changes? No.
VCU last took the lead at 18 minutes to go in the second half.
And I'm looking at this, and it got down to 1 on multiple occasions. Like Ellington tip in off glass for 46-45 at about 14 minutes.
They also were down 4, drew a foul, but missed the front end of the 1-and-1.
That was enormous.
That was a big moment.
Who was that at the line? I don't know if we need to call him out.
We'll never know.
But it was somebody at the line, and what's up, yo, Ryan? Yo, tell us about the clown show, dude. The clown show was the game. It was George Mason. And then I wore the Reggie Miller choke. I mean, they had a choke. Ryan, love you. Y'all rock.
See you in Pittsburgh.
That's awesome. We got some clown show insight.
Have you touched
They were
on
testing
Dayton
that audio before.
I haven't really touched on Dayton yet. We're already at 14 minutes and change. I'm running out of time here.
All right. It's March 3rd. Do they make the tournament, and how do they make the tournament?
Yes, And I think that with the emotions of how that St. Louis game ended, I think they will lose on Friday at Dayton, which will effectively end the at-large, and then
It's all or nothing.
And then they'll reel off 3 in a row in Pittsburgh and beat St. Louis in the A-10 final. And get the auto bid.
Agree with you. It's all or nothing if they lose on Friday. I think they get in the tournament as an at-large.
You think they win Friday?
I think they win Friday, but do not win in Pittsburgh.
And lose to SLU. But do you think they have to get to the A-10 final in order for that at-large to be like they probably can't lose in the semis?
Our other wild card is what if SLU loses in the semis?
Yeah.
Then,
They're vulnerable. We've seen that.
But then that actually hurts these guys' chances because then you're talking about 3 A-10 teams.
Want to play
they're just going to
final.
drop the bracket as a winner-take-all final at that point. You know? Like if you make it to the final, but you're playing St. Joe's or you're playing Dayton, the committee's just going to draw it up as that one team.
The winner of that team
one team's
is
on that line
because
they're not kicking SLU
There's
out.
storylines galore in the A-10 tournament. You talk about St. Joe's, obviously with the Martellis. That's a big deal in year one here. Talk about St. Louis.
Put that man's name on the court.
Yes.
Put some respect on that basketball.
Which Phil Jr. has said this season.
He has multiple times.
As a callback. That's what you call that literary. As a callback.
If I were in the running for the St. Joe's AD,
I've heard that. I've heard that.
He said the thing. It's the Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, I mean, he said the thing.
You're the man.
You're the man, MP. Are we running far on radio time right
There's
now?
no chance we're still on the radio. They sent us to break a long time ago.
All right, they're gonna get mad at me because we're at 16
How about
minutes.
the nugget though about Dayton being Coach Phil's last A-10 opponent?
Yeah, that was fun. They threw that out there that was where his last season at St. Joseph's ended, was at UD Arena.
Yeah.
And so VCU's going to go there Friday, and if you're looking at all the projections too, that might not be their last time there. First four is very much in the cards if VCU is an at-large. And I think everyone, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone would love that, right? Because of this program's history with the first four, opportunity to win your first NCAA tournament game since 2016, like pretty much sign everyone up for the first four, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So quick shout
You
out
hate
to
the first four?
You're too late, but invite me on some other time. I hate the first four.
Quick shout out to the guy who was at midcourt at some point during this game and already had a Vince Williams Jazz jersey. He's been there like a week.
Wow.
And I was like, he's not on the Jazz. And I look, I'm like, oh, he is.
He's the owner of River City Roll, where the pizza's banging, man. Love the pizza at River City Roll.
Jadrian Tracy scored 14 points and had 6 rebounds. Djokovic also in double figures with 12. Barry Evans 7. Brandon Jennings 8. Again, Keyshawn Mitchell just 4 points, but he's 6 over on the plus minus in 12-19. His minutes were outstanding. VCU 14 points off of 10 Mason turnovers. VCU only turned the ball over 6 times. So I think pretty good job against a rugged, tough defensive team in Mason and only coughing it up 6 times. So I think 2 of them were like back-to-back Jadrian Tracy turnovers there in the second half. And so they really took care of the ball on the whole well and clamped down defensively after that start. Riley Allenspach was really freaking good. He had 18 points. He was 6 of 10 from the floor. And Corey Mincy, 17 points, 10 rebounds to lead Mason.
Have you ever made it to the end of one of these videos before, or is this the first time?
This is the first time.
And it's funny because I think this is now the longest on the horn that I've ever done.
Get off the horn.
We got to get off the horn. Phil talked about this place and that his expectations.
I thought you were going to boast yourself
going into the
saying
season.
You watched on the horn.
Apparently he does, which makes me very excited. Phil, thank you so much.
No chance of making the end of those.
Yeah, no, Brian. He needs to, and he said he was going to pull an all-nighter too.
Yeah,
he's gonna go. Yeah, he was gonna go.
Does he have coffee? Does he have adult beverages in his glass?
He's gonna study Dayton all night because I had to ask about Dayton. We don't have media availability in between now and then, and so I got to get the question in because I need to write my advance off of his quote.
He said his only break between now and the morning is a 4 a.m.
Yeah, he's gonna drive his dad to the airport, which is wild. Phil, get some sleep, man. I hope you're not watching this tonight. If you are, a huge tip of the cap. Hope you're obviously studying up on the Flyers and get a chance to sleep at some juncture here, man. But he talked about his expectations relative to the Siegel Center and this fan base and this environment this season were blown away, and he had high expectations coming in. I love this place. This place is awesome. We've had some outstanding atmospheres this year. And this is the last time, guys. I'm getting emotional.
Are you just unable to end these videos?
Well, it's the last on the horn from the Siegel Center, man. I don't want it to be over. This is On the Horn. I'm Zach Joachim. Y'all rock. Good night.